Well, we got a new co-host in the building today. Thanks for filling in.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Ryan Kracht in the building for today's episode, filling in for Jack. But we're going to talk about Ryan's hot start again, MVP-like few series. Talk about the Preds outing against the Wildcats. Talk about Patrick Baalman, what we've seen from him. Talk about Ryan's bullpen being Fleer, who we've seen, McGlade, who we might see in the near future.
Yeah.
Talk about Ryan getting intentionally walked as well, which is a new epidemic that may be sweeping him.
I hope not.
But after interviewing Ryan, we got into a comment of the week. We did fuzzy numbers again. Updated you all on the Waffle House bet to conclude, and then an update on the Miami series as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. This is the Pipe It Up podcast, and cue the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pipe It Up podcast, the official podcast of MLW Wiffle Ball, and I have a new co-host today, just temporarily, 1 week, as Jack's in Hawaii. Aloha, Jack. But we got Ryan Kracht, back-to-back MVP in the building. Ryan, thank you for filling in for Jack today.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate you having me. I'm living out some old memories back when Pipe It Up started. So
That's right.
It's pretty good to be here.
You actually are a host before I ever was.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's right.
But glad to have you on today. Of course, you guys played the Cats in the last video, so it was appropriate to have you on as a guest. And given that Jack is out on a vacay, I'm glad to have you filling as a host. So let's want to just dive into the games a little bit.
Let's do it.
I mean, I guess first thing I wanted to ask you is how have you felt this year so far compared to years past? You looked great, of course, but on the mound specifically, I guess, how you feeling 2 series in now?
I feel good. I've kind of put like a big focus on the first half of the season. In years past, like the first half of the season has kind of been what set us up, to be in a bad spot with our backs against the wall. So, I talked to the guys and, we all kind of were, had the mindset of let's be in midseason form right from the get-go. So I feel good so far, probably the best I've felt in the past few years. Now,
did that just change, like, coming into the season, like, from day one? You tried to lock in more, or, like, did you actually prepare a little bit more?
Like, I did a lot of preparation stuff, a lot of mental stuff, more than physical, as weird as that may sound.
No,
I trust my abilities on the field physically, so I kind of just, wanted to perfect the other side of the game, so the mental side. So I've been doing a lot of work there.
Mm-hmm. And I noticed right away, too, I feel like last year, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you started to add more flair sort of like as the year went on. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely.
But now you're kind of implementing this flair and these like different deliveries and pitch styles, pitch selection, release points, like right from game one now through 4 starts, I believe, for you. So why is that so comfortable for you now? And like, did you know last year when it concluded, like, I'm going to start doing that right away next year type thing?
So that stuff kind of started last year, like you said, like
against the Cobras, really, right, coming out party.
Yeah, the different pitch releases and all that stuff. So I, that kind of came with comfortability over the year. I'm sure that like the way you play in your 5th series of the year is much, it feels a lot better than your first series of the year. So that was the mental side of it. Is how can I prepare myself to feel like I'm already in my 5th series of the year on opening day.
Mm-hmm. But does it feel awkward for you? Is it like pretty normal to like change deliveries and change styles? Like, because I did that, not as extreme, but I would like mix in a sidearm pitch every now and then or a stride outright versus left. Mm-hmm. And it was it feels extreme when I was doing it, but like looking on camera, yours is way more drastic. But because like my body was in such good shape from a pitching standpoint, it never really felt like awkward to me.
Yeah, no.
So I don't know if you're the same, but
I mean, as most baseball players know, growing up, playing infield and stuff, you learn how to throw from every angle and, every, different movement. So, all the stuff that I'm doing, some of it is awkward. I won't lie, like the step away sliders I throw, that's weird. But that's like, if I feel like it's weird, then I know the hitter definitely thinks it's weird. So, that's kind of the way I look at it.
Well, it also helps too that you're throwing so many strikes that you're usually ahead in counts, so you can afford to burn one if necessary.
Yeah. And, you can get the chase pitch, the pitches that guys swing at when guys are throwing strikes are much different than the guys that, don't routinely throw as many strikes.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Now, given that you've seen success there, do you think this is something that'll start to get mimicked a little bit across the league?
I've noticed it for sure. I don't want to say I brought the 2-seam pitch into the league, but I had a start in it,
Yeah.
I was one of the first people to start making the ball move that way.
I'd say that's pretty fair, I think.
Yeah.
Because when was your first year really doing that pitch?
I want to say probably 2 years ago. Yeah, definitely
like
2
22?
years. Yeah, 22.
Because I think you kind of were the first, and then late that first year for Jordan Robles, his rookie season, he kind of figured out how to do it, and then now like it's the standard.
Everywhere. Yeah,
everyone has it. So I think I would credit you for being like the first one to do it effectively.
Right, and so I noticed that when I brought that in, that everybody else was starting to mimic it. So that's kind of when I was thinking like I got to change something up. I can't look just like everybody else in the league. So that's when I started going with these different releases and all that different stuff. And I've seen it everywhere. I saw, actually Jackson Pearson struck me out with a step away riser, and I was kind of more shocked than I was, anything else. So, it's just the stuff that, that's going to continue to happen. If you see somebody out there having success doing something, why wouldn't you try and do it yourself?
Yeah, is that a cool feeling for you, just kind of seeing it take over the league, like spread across the league? Not just the style, but the pitch itself too.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of pressure though, because it kind of feels like everybody's waiting for me to start something else, and I don't know what's left.
I mean, it is funny because for whatever reason, no one had experimented with it that way or thought it was doable, and even back to like my drop ball. Again, I'm going to brag a little bit.
No, go ahead, please.
So I was throwing that pitch since we were very young, that, gypsy drop, I called it. Now Sawyer throws it. You throw a variation of it. I think Baalman was even spinning one like that. So, like, now it's pretty common.
Yeah.
But, like, I threw that pitch with a clean wiffle ball unscuffed at the 2018 NWLA tournament. So a lot of, like, older players who've been playing fast pitch competitive for a long time. And, like, I threw that and everyone was like, whoa, like, what was that? I'm like, how has nobody in this group of like the best in the world players ever tried to do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now like that's like outdated. And now the two-seamer was the new thing in our league.
It's crazy how things move like that. But
knuckleball starting to surge a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't know, like what's really left here.
I don't know.
Really
I don't know. I was thinking about it the other day.
Now the ball's moving every direction.
Yeah, I read a comment not too long ago, and it's like, Kracht revolutionized the two-seam. Now he's revolutionizing these different movements on the mound. I can't wait to see what's next for next year. It's like, I don't know.
Do we think the slider makes a huge comeback in MLW?
I think it's on its way because nobody throws it anymore.
I don't think it's like fashion. I don't know if it works like that.
I don't know.
But there's really nothing. There's not much more to add because your two seam can be pretty flat, like very lateral. Yeah. Baalman's two seam kind of comes like, what would that be on a clock? It's like a 11 to 4 type.
Same with Jimmy.
Screwball. Jimmy has the same one. Pearson's kind of moves like that at times too. There's the slurve pitch from the side that like Schultz throws and Barron throws and Jimmy can mix in. Trey Flood throws. Pearson. Right. There's a slider. There's a riser. There's the super drop that Sawyer throws that everyone has. There's, I can't think of like a different. Even Kyle's underhand screwball. He's kind of the only one that throws it like that, where it's like a really. That would be like 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock movement. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of pitches going from that quad to this quad of the strike zone.
Exactly. Yeah.
I just used a hand motion for you audio listeners, but 8 to 2 on the clock.
Right.
It's that's like the only pitch that's not readily used by everybody. I'd say it's pretty unique to Kyle. Is that because he's definitely. Like so submarine.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that I don't think anybody else is really going to be able to do it like him with the different movement he puts on the ball.
I mean, it just takes practice, but it is very uncomfortable. Like, and I know Kyle now feels awkward like throwing a baseball or throwing overhand normal because his body's just so muscle memory to do that. Whereas to me, I physically like his release points like actually with his fingers pointed towards the ground.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm trying to do that, and then like I watch a video of it back, and I'm like not even at the 90-degree line yet. Like it's incredible. He's like almost bowling. Yeah. Like it's like a softball pitch.
It is like bowling. Yeah.
We gotta roll the Stones sometime.
Yeah, seriously.
We haven't gone to Brighton Bowl in too long.
We talking about it. We're all we're writing checks, but we're not cashing them.
Are you gonna be home this weekend?
Yeah.
Let's roll the Stones.
Let's roll some Stones.
Let's go roll the Stones.
I got a pair of jeans back at the house.
You got a Hawaiian shirt maybe?
I do.
A little button up?
I do. I got 2 of them.
No, I'm there. If I don't go up north, I'm so there.
All right, just let me know.
I'll text you.
Shoot me a text.
Okay. Well, we talked a lot of pitching. You've done very well this year so far on the mound. I believe you're 4-0, right?
Yep.
A couple of close ones, but you had just enough support. Shout out to Ward on Game 3 for that double.
That was big.
But let's talk about offense because, I never really thought of it too much for whatever reason. I mean, I like to go after hitters. I think a lot of pitchers in this league like to go after hitters too because the lineups are so small, and it's part of the fun of MLW. Like, we know each other. We want to challenge each other
exactly,
and that kind of thing. I wouldn't say it's like ego involved. It's more so like the fun of it. But Jack mentioned on the podcast after your first series, like, how long are we going to keep pitching to Ryan for? And that, sparked a little bit of debate in our comment section a bit, and Jack and I talked about it a little bit. And in game 1, Patrick Baalman was throwing a no-hitter. PB, Mr. Editor, shout out to PB. Perfect game.
Yeah.
And I think you would have been the 9th out, right?
Yep. He was 8 up, 8 down with 8 strikeouts.
Yeah, Kyle put up the graphic. And
yeah.
that was kind of funny.
I saw that.
An intentional jinx kind of thing, but it was funny. And you go yard.
Yeah.
So, and in the mic'd up, Kyle said that they had considered walking you, which surprised me a little bit.
Right.
Because 0-0, your guy's got an 8 up, 8 down. I wouldn't really think I'm going to walk this guy here.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Then in following that, in game 3, you were walked 3 times. I think like 3 out of your 4 at bats. So I guess what's that like digesting that for you? Like, are you bummed out about it? Is it like, does it make you feel like proud of how good you've done?
I mean,
like,
yes and no. Like, sure, I mean, a free trip to first base is a free trip to first base. And the way I look at it, if I get intentionally walked, then I always have a much better chance of scoring,
No, I mean, you do.
So
it's hard to balance that.
I like the idea of, like, putting a little bit more pressure on the other guys. Like, I want them to step up and, feel that. But, at the, like, my foundation, I just want to help the team. I want to be the guy that does it. So that part is frustrating. Yeah. I want to be the guy that hits the ball over the fence or the ball off the wall to score a run. That's kind of, just how I've always been.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's a little bit different from baseball, in my opinion, just because wiffle ball is much more home run friendly, especially at Colts Field or at the Meadows. Whoa,
yeah,
taking it way back.
It was very friendly at Colts Field.
It was very friendly at Colts, but at the Meadows too.
Yeah.
So I kind of mentioned, maybe it was on this podcast, I'm sure it was, that like home runs can definitely win you ball games, and you're your guys' best home run hitter right now. So I think, yes, you're not getting out, but I think it's an offensive blow to get walked for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And it is kind of different this year. Is where we stand right now. I have 4 hits this year and all 4 are home runs. So, that's
4 bombs, 2 series, not bad.
Yeah, it's great.
And you were walked for a whole game.
Yeah,
much.
right. Yeah. So seeing 4 walks in that third game was weird, but it ended up. I don't want to say it ended up winning us the game because Ward had that big hit, but it was a huge factor in it.
No, I mean, you scored.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, as a fan, I probably wouldn't love to see it, but it also makes me think like, wow, like Ryan's that good. I guess there's pros and cons again. Definitely. I think as a fan, as a Preds fan, I would not like it, but as like a fan of the league, like if I'm a Mallards fan watching that series and seeing you get walked, it is like kind of cool.
Yeah,
like wow, Kracht is that good.
Yeah.
I just wonder if it's gonna catch on because Kyle's a strategic manager. You guys kind of have a long-standing rivalry with them. Those were close games. Like the scenario kind of called for the walks.
Always are close games.
So I wonder if your next series is against the Gators, you said?
Gators, yep.
I wonder if you'll see Sawyer or Jeremy putting you on base. I don't know who will make that call. Cheatham, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, maybe Jeremy, but I don't think Sawyer has it in him to intentionally walk anybody.
I mean, it's not a home run friendly pitch.
No, it's not. He's a really good pitcher. I'm just saying in his no.
I get what you're saying.
His aura is just like I'm gonna go get him. Like and which I respect.
I think a lot of guys are like that in this league, and I think if it was in the postseason, it'd be a little different. Because even we've seen like in that 2021 World Series between the Wildcats and the D-backs, we saw a lot of walks in that series as it went on further. Right. So in the regular season, I don't think you'll get walked. I'm going to make a prediction and say you're not going to get walked intentionally 3 times again in a game.
Yeah, no, yeah.
The rest of the regular season.
Definitely, I agree.
In the postseason, maybe. And other guys in the same tier as you in that category, I'd probably say it's only Grant.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, obviously Jordan's a phenomenal hitter. Kyle Schultz is a tremendous hitter. Dallas Allen's great. Norb's great. I mean, there's probably 10 hitters in this league. It's like you don't want to give anything too good to that guy.
Yep.
But
Tommy Coughlin.
Yeah. I mean, at times.
In Philly.
So in Philly for sure.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess I don't see that becoming a pattern in this league. It's gonna be like walk the best hitter. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Again, I think the only ones who would really make a lot of sense to at this point in the season, from what I've seen so far through almost 2 slates, would be you or Grant. And Grant hasn't even earned that this year, just more so from his performance in the past.
Right.
So I don't see it becoming a trend. However, in the postseason, in a 0-0 game, if I'm Kyle Schultz or if I'm Drew Davis or if I'm Jack Agner, I don't know if I want to throw to Ryan.
Yeah, I mean,
0-0 game.
and
unless the other guys start picking it up more.
Right, yeah, and that's just how it's going to be. That's the game. That part of it, I mean, there's nothing I can do about it, right?
Depth. Yeah,
right. So that's really just comes to the rest of the guys. We got a few guys on our team that need to step up, and they know that. So, I'm not worried about that. I know that Warda and Brennan and Rudy and Levi are going to step up and hit when they need to. Mm-hmm. Maybe even Stephen McGlade. We'll see.
Maybe. Well, let's talk about McGlade and Levi.
Let's do it.
Because McGlade was your number 2 at the last 2 seasons. Haven't seen him this year yet. Mm-hmm. Levi has taken the role. Levi is 0-2 right now, but what have you... I guess, he can take some criticism. He can take some positive things as well. What have you seen so far? What have you liked? What have you not liked?
I like his demeanor. He wants to be He wants to be in every game, and I can respect that. There's some control issues. There's no doubt, and I it's not like I don't notice it. Of course I do, but it's to be expected. His stuff moves just about the best I've seen in the league. I mean, his riser's moving like 4 feet, and it looks hard to control. Young man's game. Yeah, so that's just the stuff that comes with time. He'll learn the control. He'll learn that stuff. Right now, I think he's too into like the making the big cool pitch or like the Dallas Allen banana ball or something like that instead of just going at a hitter and getting the out. But I think that he's got the stuff. As for Steve. I never thought Steve didn't have the stuff. We just, we wanted to take a chance on a pitcher. The reason Steve hasn't been here this year is because, well, the first series he was out. He had some stuff he had going on with school. And then last series he was there. It's just he left his jersey up at college, so he didn't have one. I saw some comments saying, I think funny. I saw Steve in the background, and I did
see that. I did see those comments. I didn't notice though in the video.
He would have been in uniform had he brought his jersey home.
That's
but
funny.
He texted me that morning. He's like, slight issue, and I'm like, it's fine. We'll throw Levi.
Yeah, we'll play through it.
Yeah. So he's just as much as part of the team as he was. It's just, had a couple of issues there.
But I'm assuming if like Levi were to struggle or if he like couldn't go to a series or whatever, would McGlade be the guy to step in?
Definitely. I want to give Steve chances for sure. I've seen him dominate this league. His rookie year was unreal. So I think that it's very likely that you'll see Steve coming up in the next few series, whether that be this first one against the Gators or later on in the year. But I definitely see him taking a chance at pitching and maybe even hitting.
Okay, good. He's a good guy, McGlade.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah.
I know. I think confidence has been a little issue for him in the past.
Yeah, but he'll find it. He's a confident guy.
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. He got a postseason win last year, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
In a big spot, I believe.
Huge spot.
Yeah, so a little series clincher.
Exactly.
No, it was to
get to the
postseason.
Yes,
to get to the postseason. I mean, he's got good movement. He throws that good 2-seamer. It's like a dropping 2-seam.
Yeah,
it's
just good stuff.
I think he gets in his head a little bit, and
1,000%.
I think he almost has like imposter syndrome. Like, I don't belong out here. I'm like, dude, you got good movement.
Yeah,
like, you really do.
Yeah.
Levi is very talented. He probably has a higher ceiling, I'd say, than McGlade.
Yeah, he does, and
he wants it really bad.
Yeah, and his I also believe in his hitting.
I do too.
We haven't gotten to use him as much. Like for last series was an example. We thought Rudy was seeing Baalman well, so we kept him in game 3. That kind of also just stems from the fact that Rudy grew up playing baseball and even played professionally for a little brief stint.
Crazy.
So when there's a pitcher who's, 6'6" on the mound like Baalman, to Rudy that looks kind of normal because, he's seeing 6'5" pitchers already standing on a mound. So that was kind of the thought process there.
Yeah, what'd you think of Baalman? I mean, he only gave up 2 earned runs.
He's pretty legit.
In 6 innings.
He's legit.
Or whatever it was.
His stuff is really good. It's not just because he's tall or it's not just because he's lengthy or anything like that. His stuff just has really good movement. And as he showed with the 9 strikeouts in game 1, he has really good control. So, Yeah,
that was a statement series for him. I was happy for him because I've gotten to know him, obviously, these last, not only few months, but even few years at tournaments and stuff. Yeah. And he comes out day 1, gets shelled, and then played better in his second outing on the first series, but then to walk out there against you guys and to just be mowing down hitters.
Yeah, that was great.
He had so many different pitches too that he was throwing.
Yeah, so, I really respect that guy. I mean, he's a great guy, as you know. So seeing him do well, even when it's against us, I've never had any issues with it.
Yeah, he looked really good, and it was impressive. And I was at the Meadows for that first game, and it was stung to see you hit that home run. But I looked over at your dad, who was there. I'm like, Ryan's just so good, man.
I was just
Ryan's just so good.
I was ready for it.
It wasn't even like a hitter's pitch though. It was high and out.
Well, see,
you like it at the letters.
I don't mind that, and I'd say in my first 2 at-bats, and this isn't the stuff you see on camera because you can only see one pitch. In my first 2 at-bats, they both went to full counts. I saw probably 20 pitches in 2 at-bats. And so that's just the type of stuff. Like, once I get a read on them, especially with the new guys, then, I'm ready for that first pitch, which I knew was coming there. So it just in that spot,
Yeah, but to me, it was an impressive home run. It was very impressive. It wasn't that easy of a pitch to hit, but to me, he's like the clear number 1 on the Cats now.
Totally,
no doubt in my mind at all.
Yeah, he's got the stuff.
He's going to have a big opportunity, a lot of pressure out in Brooklyn for the next series.
We'll see
against the Cubs.
We'll see how he deals with it. That's always
hopefully it went well.
That's all. Yeah, it's always a factor with rookies is pitching in the big spots under the lights.
Yeah, it's just a big. Again, it's really hard for me to like empathize with that and to know what that's like because me and you have both kind of grown into playing in front of audiences and having people like know your name and it was never weird to me because it was so gradual. But I think it probably is very weird for someone who was not a part of this last year then go on the field and like sign autographs and then try to play a game and I'm sure it's a lot to handle whether you're young or Baalman's age. Baalman's closer to my age, but it's still probably a lot.
Yeah, totally. So, We'll see how he does.
See how he handles it. Yeah. I'm excited to see. But overall a great outing for PB. Show some love to PB in the comments. But there was one final question before our next segment I wanted to ask you, Kracht. Not sure if we touched on it before or not. But have you ever thought about what your career would have looked like if you'd stayed on the Eagles?
Yeah, of course. Me and Dan have talked about it a few times.
Have you? What are those conversations been like?
I mean, there's a lot of different factors. I don't know how to say this without coming across as like just a awful person, but like I don't think I'd be as good as I am now.
I don't think that would hurt anybody's feelings. We were like, how old were you back then? Like 16?
Well, so it was 2018. So yeah, I was 16 years old, and I wanted to play more. That was the big thing of why I wanted to go to the Preds. They needed a pitcher. I was our number 2 pitcher, and back then Dan could throw all 3 games if he really wanted to. So that's why I wanted to do it. So I don't think I would have as much exposure being behind Dan and then eventually being with maybe Dallas and Blade. I don't know how things would have worked out.
Would have changed everything.
I think
butterfly effect.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if I was on the Eagles last year, then we probably win the World Series. That's just there's just the different factors. But yeah, I've thought about it before, but I'm pretty happy with where I am now.
What do you think this Preds team can get to a World Series?
Totally. I think the other side of the division is. Or the other side of the league, is very, very competitive, very good. But I think our side is kind of open for the taking between not just us, but all 4 teams. I mean, regardless of records right now, every team is just one sweep away from being right next to us. And, so I think it's open for the taking. And I think this would be a really good year for us to step in and kind of squeeze our way into the World Series.
I mean, yeah, you guys are atop the AL right now. It's very early, but it's interesting.
Definitely.
What, 4-2 and then 2-4 across the board?
Yeah. So I mean, they get one sweep, they're 5-4, and then that's just they're right back with.
Well, you have an opportunity here if you guys beat the Gators in the series, who I'd say on paper you're stronger than, to create some distance, be in first place at the All-Star break, and I think last year at the break you were only 2-7.
We were 2-7 at the break.
Yeah, I mean, big difference between 2-7, and you could be 7-2 or 6-3.
Right.
So I'm liking what I'm seeing out of the Preds.
I do too. I'm
I think Levi is the X factor, really. Like postseason wise, if he can put the bat on the ball and get rewarded for it, he has to put the bat on the ball. But if he can start putting some over the fence and stuff, and can settle into that number 2 role, because I mean, you pitch so good that I don't really know that you need a number 2 in the playoffs, but it would be
helpful.
Yeah,
totally.
It wouldn't hurt. I don't think.
Just to put a new look on him. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, again, I think it proves very valuable in.
Who could be Stephen McGlade? Who knows?
It could be McGlade. It could be McGlade. Right. But in those games where, say, you win the first game, this is back to my Mallards D-backs 2022 series, but you win game 1, then in game 2 you pitch again to try to clinch it and you fall behind. Yeah. Maybe it's a couple runs, last inning, throw Levi, just change the eye level for an inning or 2. I think it makes a huge difference. So, but you got to have confidence in that guy. Yeah. And he's got 3 more series to prove it.
And I think by then I will. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, an exciting season for the Preds so far. Ryan's working on that back-to-back-to-back MVP campaign. Is that in the back of your head at all?
Not at all.
Not at all.
I'd trade it in for a World Series title any day.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'd like to hear that.
I'm not too worried about that.
All right.
I mean, it's a great accolade. It's not like I
That'd
don't
be impressive.
It's amazing, yeah. But I want the team to do good before I would care about my personal stuff.
It's too early. I think we can start having that conversation at the All-Star break maybe about who the realistic candidates are looking like at this point.
we've all only played 6 games. So.
Not even. I mean, we all have, but
you're right. Yeah.
To YouTube, we haven't even seen Mallards and the D-backs in 6 games so far. So I'd say we can start thinking about that as fans. And in the comment section, I think you got to wait until about early July, mid-July.
Yeah, I agree.
Then those conversations can start being a little bit more plausible in terms of, okay, we have 9 games on paper versus just 6 or 3 for some teams. So I'd say it's a little too early to have that conversation, but definitely a good start for you again.
Yeah,
which is always great.
Yeah.
And I hear you're playing a 5th year in baseball now.
I am, yeah.
One last ride.
One more ride. Just one more shot at it. This is it, right? This is all I have left of eligibility. This is it. Okay. I'm putting all my cards are on the table next year.
Okay.
So, we've been close to winning our conference the past 2 years, and we
be a great way to go
short.
Out.
So it'd be a really good way to finish it.
I'll be rooting for you guys next year. Go Scots.
Yeah, go Scots.
Let's get some Go Scots in the comments. Yeah. All right, let's move into this week's comment of the week. It comes from Tony, and he said, the Wildcats actually turned a routine ground ball double play to end the game during Game 2 of the first ever MLW World Series. Great throwback comment there from Tony. Throwing it back to 2010 World Series after that.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay,
yeah, that was like a 1-2-1 double play.
It was you and Kyle, right?
Kyle at the pitcher's mound. Play the clip, PB, on the video. It was Kyle on the mound, ground ball at him, run around first, and I covered second, he threw to me, and then Kyle, as he threw it, then sprinted to first base to cover, and we got, his brother or Rachel, my sister running to first base, so definitely had some slow base runners. They were young and stuff, but it was still cool.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think that was the first ever, like, we'll call it a 4-6-3 double play in MLW history. I don't know that there's been one.
Besides the 2?
But I'm saying the one that they had against you guys in the last series.
Yeah, I know, but I think there's another.
There was one the Wildcats turned when it was Pirok and Kelly, but I think it was to the mound, I think, and then to second, and then to first.
Yeah.
This one was like ground ball at the second base side, and then over to the second base, and then to first.
Yeah.
I guess how would we number wiffle ball positions? Pitcher 1,
left field 2.
No.
You're right. First base.
Well, I guess are the infielders or the outfielders? I don't really know.
It doesn't. I mean, there's only. It's really just who's 2 and 3.
I'd probably give 2 to first baseman.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'd say it was a 2. I'd say it was a 2-3-1 double play.
Yeah,
that's what I would call it in the book.
Yeah.
But you can make the argument it was a 3-2-1 double play, which sounds cooler.
Yeah.
But no, I've never seen a double play turn in that fashion, and it was pretty. The call only stood at first. I think Jimmy said the call stands. I thought it was pretty conclusive from what I saw in the video. But again, Jimmy's not seeing that replay like in a large monitor like you're seeing it on YouTube at home. He's seeing it like on an iPhone or in a little camera playback. So it's tougher to make that call in person. So I think call stands was the right verbiage there.
Yeah.
But I like that comment, number 1. Oh, there's a good voice crack. I like that comment because, number 1, it pays homage to the Wildcats double play in this last series, which was, I'm going to call it right now, it's going to be number 2 in the top 10 plays.
Okay.
I'm calling number 2. That's exactly where Kyle's and I was.
Yeah.
I think it's a tough sell at number 1 because it's like not mine. It doesn't have the number 1 aesthetic to it, but from a rarity standpoint and a skill-based standpoint, it's very high.
Right.
So I'm calling number 2. I'll put a lot of my eggs in that basket. I'll say if it's not number 2, it's number 3. It's not going to be lower than 3, but I don't think it'll be higher than 2.
I've got no argument on that. I agree with you.
So I like that portion of it, and I also like that he was able to throw it back to that 2010 double play. A lot of you fans probably have never seen that clip. Now you have if you're watching on video. If you're listening on audio, head over to the 2010 World Series Game 2 video, I think. Might have been Game 2. Game 2 or Game 3, but it was way back when at Colts Field, which I mentioned earlier, and it was a great that was the only double play like that I ever have been a part of in MLW.
And I do remember seeing that on the top 10 plays. I just don't remember
in 2010.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I was a viewer.
Oh, that's back when I actually had top 10 plays that I made. I had I was the Gold Glove back then, and then I got unathletic and lost my hand-eye coordination. But I had a lot of good plays. I had like a couple diving catches, a couple one-handed snags. What's your favorite play you've ever made in this league defensively? Do you have one?
I think it was 2015 or 2016. Might have been 2015. I was like number 3 or 2 on the top 10 plays for like a peg out at first base I made on Borda. It was like he hit a soft ground ball to the right side, and I like kind of dove on the ground, picked up, spun, and then just threw it right at Warda. Yeah, that was.
I remember that play. You're on your knees, kind of spinning.
Yeah,
in the blue T-shirt,
in the blue shorts.
It wasn't a terrible look, and then you do it now.
Yeah.
I think you can pull it off on the field.
Yeah,
out in a public setting,
no,
probably
you
not.
Couldn't. Yeah, but I was wearing that in public setting back then.
I was too. I used to wear like a blue, like in 6th grade or 5th grade, I'd wear like a blue Aeropostale shirt and like blue basketball shorts.
You know who still does that to the day?
Who?
Greg Kracht.
Does he?
Oh, I think he's colorblind. I mean, he'll wear all of one color: blue shorts, blue shirt, blue hat, and sandals with no socks.
See, when do you get this is not a knock on Mr. Kracht, Greg Kracht.
No.
If you're hearing this, Mr. Kracht, you know I love you. But we're just talking shop here.
Right.
Is there like a point in age you think where like fashion you just can kind of like crumple it up and say, you know what,
like the Adam Sandler look, like
exactly.
You can just start,
like when can you pull that off? Because to be honest, I think Greg pulls it off very well.
Yeah,
I think he really does.
When he shows up in all blue like that, you don't even take a second look. That's just Greg. So I don't know, there has to be an age. You and I probably just don't know. Maybe it's when you have your first kid, maybe it's the day you become a dad.
I don't know, but some dads do have like noticeably bad fashion. But I think Greg, it fits Greg's aura, fits his vibe.
Yeah, it does. The
dad fits. Like some dads can't pull off a dad fit, and Greg can pull off a dad fit really well for whatever reason.
Mark Schultz pulls a good.
I think it's like personality, look. Like Greg's always smiling and happy. Like if you're a shy kind of like off-putting guy who's maybe a little awkward, like you'd be like, oh, what's this dude wearing? He's awkward. He's quiet. He's dressed like a bum. But Greg comes in, he's smiling ear to ear, he's dapping you up, like you don't care what Greg's wearing.
He's laying down the law, joke after joke after joke. Yeah.
Greg every once in a while will just text me a dad joke, like totally unsolicited out of the blue. It's so good. I absolutely love that.
I'm glad you do.
No other dads do that to me. No. Just Greg.
He's one of a kind.
Yeah, he really is. Good guy. Is he gonna pitch you again in the Derby?
I don't think so.
No?
No, because
you think it would stain the?
What if I go out there and just hit one home run and then just get knocked out?
You think it stains the title from last year?
I think we couldn't have done it any better the first time, and I think that's it.
Just right into the sunset.
I think he would agree too.
I mean, you could even say that for your derbies. Like you've won 2 in a row now, right?
Yeah.
You could just say, you know what, I'm not doing it this year. I
could. I probably won't.
I think they're probably still going to win.
They're pretty fun.
If I had to bet on 2 finals, it's going to be you versus Jonah again.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, how do you not, like, so we tried to, in the past, once we started this, like, 16-hitter format in the derbies, and I don't know if it'll be the same this year or different, but I'm just speaking on the past few. We've incorporated, like, previous derby results as well as current home run totals through the 9 games. So, like, yeah, even if Jonah, like, has 0 home runs at the break,
you got to put him in.
You got to put him in. He's so good.
You can't not.
So
I think, in my opinion, if you've ever won a home run derby,
you're in.
You're in. As long as you're still in the league.
Like the Masters?
Yeah, you get your ticket back. Yeah, exactly.
What if you're like what if you're retired?
Then no. Like
you gotta be active?
You have to be active.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a fair take. Fair take. Let's bounce it now to Fuzzy Numbers, brought to you by our friends over at ShedBall, a competitive mini hoop basketball league. Join their $1,000 Pick'em Challenge, folks. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for ShedBall and register at ShedBall.com to get to know the players and GMs this summer. The tournament field will be finalized in late August. Make your picks by September 13th for a chance to pick a perfect slate and win the 1,000. Again, subscribe on YouTube to ShedBall and head over to ShedBall.com. That's ShedBall.com. Let's kick it over to Tim Whalen, now the commissioner of ShedBall, for this week's Fuzzy Numbers.
Thanks again, boys. Tim Whalen, commissioner of ShedBall. Now, for those of you keeping track, Fuzzy Frank had his first Friday flop when the Preds faced the Wildcats. And we count on these machines to be objective, to take emotions out of the equation. But Fuzzy Frank, he followed Tom last time and picked the Wildcats. And he seemed like a machine maligned, a bot betrayed. He's coming out swinging. And for this series, he's got the Mallards getting swept by the D-backs. And he's got Jimmy Nort scorching everybody. He's got Jimmy Nort one run allowed the entire time, 11 strikeouts, and the Mallards go down in flames 0-3.
Fuzzy Frank, we got problems, my man.
Wow.
I don't like that take at all.
Yeah, that's
I didn't mean to start any beef. I mean, I had a good prediction last week, but apparently
I don't think
Frank took it personal.
I don't think you guys could go to Miami in front of a crowd, right? And get swept. I just don't think it's.
So you're fading Frank hard.
I'm fading him. Yeah.
All right.
Well, I don't I don't disagree with the D-backs winning the series. I hope you don't take any offense to
No,
that.
no.
I think
me,
they're
I call
talented. I think you
spade a
guys are
spade.
talented. So I think it's going to be 2-1. I'd put the house on a 2-1 outcome either way. Yeah.
Okay, well, I know Jack had 2-1 D-backs. I have 2-1 Mallards. How about he had Norp going only 1 run the entire day?
Oof.
What do you think about that take? I'm going to fade that as well. Just because last year, and really ever since Robles has joined the Mallards, we've seen Jimmy really well.
Mm-hmm.
We've hit the ball against him. So I think we're going to score hopefully multiple runs in both games he pitches. I'm assuming he's going to go 2. We'll see. But I'm fading Frank hard. I'm betting on myself here big time. And I'm sticking with my guns. Mallards 2-1. So
I like you and I like Robles under the lights in front of a crowd. I think you guys are too good
did well
to
last
only
year.
give up 1.
You
did.
would know.
He sure did. I don't know if that ball landed yet.
Sure did. Sure did.
Yeah.
Oh, good times. Yeah, I'm trying to do that again for sure.
I don't blame you.
But I don't like it because it does put extra pressure on myself. Like, Philly was so great. It's like I shouldn't have even thought about that going into the series because you can't try to replicate that. You can't have your expectation sitting at 4 bombs.
No,
for the series.
you can't just hit a home run over the scoreboard every time. It doesn't happen.
I don't know how that happened. It was the omelet and the arugula. You guys all made fun of me for eating too much at breakfast, and I had 4 bombs.
You did it right. I did serve that one up on a platter for you. That one, you what I'm talking about.
What were you doing? What were you thinking?
I thought you weren't thinking slider. Looking back on it now, I can see why you were.
I'll give you guys an inside scoop here. This will be fun for you guys to relive then as you see my first at bat. But I was talking to Matt before the game. And like last year we faced the D-backs, and Jimmy did kind of mix in a couple sneaky sliders against me.
Right.
And then you tried to too, and like I had a bomb. But I was like, Matt, I think first pitch he's gonna throw a slider. He's like, he definitely thinks I'm not gonna be looking for that because he knows that he thinks that I think that I can hit it.
Right.
So I was like, I'm just gonna sit slider. He might try to sneak a slider past me, and I might just hammer it first pitch. And Matt said, "Okay, Dom, you go for that." So that was my mindset. At bat 1, game 1, going to Miami was I'm gonna hammer a slider on the first pitch.
Right.
So watch the video and see what happens. But I'm fading Frank. Frank did miss his last series prediction last year, as Tim said. He had Cats 2-1. The Preds won the series. You beat Frank Ryan. Congratulations.
Yep, sweet.
He also had 4 home runs in the day. I believe there was only 3. It was Pearson, yourself, and just 2?
Just 2.
Just 2. So, we're short the home runs.
Yeah.
And Saylor didn't have a huge day, which he predicted. So, not a great week for Frank. His first kind of flop, as Tim said. Yeah. So, we'll see if the fuzzy numbers prove to be true this week in Miami. To update you guys on the Waffle House bet between Jack and myself, have you been following along with this? Do you know what the Waffle House challenge is?
No.
No? Okay.
You would think I would. But
no, I think you would. You're a food guy. You're into this kind of stuff.
Well, I like Waffle House.
There's kind of a famous, so I know you do. I've seen you work behind the counter.
Right, yeah.
There's the thing that became popular via fantasy football.
Okay,
for punishment.
Is it the 24-hour?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
yes.
yeah. Okay,
so you are familiar.
Yeah.
24 hours in a Waffle House. Every waffle you eat's 1 hour gone.
Yeah.
So Jack and I are predicting each series slate by slate of the season. Whoever scores less points has to do the Waffle House challenge.
How's that going so
far?
So
we're currently tied 10-10.
Okay.
So how it works is you get 2 points for if you correctly pick like the Mallards, the D-backs, that's 2 points. If you correctly predict 2-1 instead of 3-0, that's an extra point. So you can earn up to 3 points a week. And you can get an extra 2 points by predicting a player of the slate correct.
Wow.
Too. So currently tied at 10-10 heading into Miami. So we are split there. I have the Mallards. Jack has the D-backs. So we will have a clear winner after slate 2. Jack was leading after slate 1, so we'll see. And for the record, because I'm dumb and like food and I'm always hungry, like a big part of me does want to try the challenge.
Yeah.
Jack does not want to do it.
So
Jack does not want to do it at all.
We did something like this at school. We did the 24-hour McDonald's challenge.
Now, isn't that like more complex?
Well, it was hard because most of them aren't open 24 hours. So
the lobby closes usually.
He had to eat just to catch up. Like he had to eat 8 burgers just to start for them to start counting. So my buddy from school, I think he ate 16 cheeseburgers.
Oh, just regular cheeseburgers though?
Yeah.
That's a lot of cheeseburgers.
Yeah, he was on the struggle bus for a while.
I've seen a McDonald's challenge online because I did some research on this whole Waffle House thing, as one would. And there was one that like every menu item had a different amount of minutes it took off your day.
Oh my
So like a Big Mac was worth more.
That is just awful.
A Big Mac was worth more than a small fry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it all depended on like the calories.
To be honest,
taste,
I think you would. I think you would put up some pretty impressive numbers there. I've
Dude,
seen you work.
You've seen me work.
I've seen you work.
You've seen me work big time.
I think
if
people would
anyone
be
has seen me
shocked.
work, it's this guy right
So
here.
you just got to eat one waffle for each hour.
Correct. And the way we're going to structure it too is, again, we're filling in people who haven't heard yet. But yeah, every hour or 24 hours in a Waffle House, you can't leave. Every waffle you eat in full takes an hour off the clock. We're also going to do, if MLW players want to come and support you, every waffle that they eat is 15 minutes off.
Okay.
So if you come down and put 2 waffles, it's a half hour for me.
I mean, that's tough. That's
As well as we're going to do a live stream somehow. I'll set it up in a couple months from now. But fans can donate too. And the donations are going to go all to tips for the staff.
Oh, okay,
but it's also
cool.
going to shut off everyone who donates up to, I think we'll do $10. And like it'll be a $10 maximum for minutes reduced. So every dollar will be a minute type thing.
Okay, cool.
But only if you donate like $50, it'll just be 10 minutes off. So we
Okay.
want to get multiple people involved,
Right,
not
yeah.
just one big donor.
Right.
So yeah, we'll be tipping the staff. We'll be eating waffles.
I
we'll be
honestly
suffering.
think people are going to be shocked. I think all of a sudden you're going to be ordering sides with your waffles.
I'm pretty hungry.
I've seen you work. I wouldn't be shocked.
I don't know. It makes me excited to think about. But again, I just know I'm going to be so giddy about this.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get there at like, 7 a.m. or whatever. By 9, I'm going to be just in the absolute most miserable place of my life.
Yeah.
Is it like illegal to throw up? Like, is that allowed?
I think it's got to be allowed. I don't. At some point, you might not have a choice.
Yeah.
Although I can say my buddy who ate 16 cheeseburgers never let any out the front
I
end.
mean, I've already got a strategy devised here, if you want to hear it.
Lay it on me.
My strategy is going to be wake up around like 4:30 in the morning, go just get an absolutely awesome workout in.
Okay.
Just a hard, like, it'll be lifting, but it'll be like short rest between sets, just like build up a big appetite.
Right.
Then it'll be go home, shower, drive the hour to Toledo. At that point, I'm starving.
Yeah.
And then just go to work. Like, it's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to order 2 waffles to start and then wait and then order 2 more. It's going to
I
be,
was gonna ask.
give me as much as I can right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I want a waffle every 5 minutes for the next hour type thing. And then from there, I'll take a big break.
Yeah.
And then at lunchtime, I'll go to work again. And I'm
my
hoping
God.
I'm hoping in 2 shifts I can put away over 10.
Oh,
But those are big waffles.
they are big. They
And
don't.
my
they
concern
don't
too
play.
is I kind of need the syrup to get them down.
Yeah.
That might add up. The syrup might add up big time.
Yeah.
Or what about butter? Like, you know how much
They
butter
put
it's going to
butter.
be?
They put butter on it for you.
Do they?
Yeah. You better ask them
Oh,
not
they
to.
do you a huge cloud of butter.
You better ask them not to.
I've only been to the one Waffle House, maybe 2.
Well, see, the one we went to was kind of the wrong experience for your first time. But
Why do you say that?
I was working. There wasn't that you didn't get the full experience. When you go there to a true Waffle House, they will put like an ice cream sized scoop of butter.
No, that's what
on
I
your
got.
waffle.
It's like a dollop. It's like a
Okay,
mini
yeah.
ice cream scoop. It was
I didn't remember
in
if
the
they did
middle.
that for us or not.
I think that's cheating if I say no butter. I think I have to eat the butter. I mean, do you agree?
I mean, and at the end of the day, how much of a difference is it really going to make? When you have 10
couple
waffles
hundred
in you,
calories.
yeah, it's just another 300
Oh, I'm going to be
calories.
the problem with that is, so say it's a weekend, right? I do it on a Saturday morning. Saturday's chalked. Sunday's chalked too.
No,
because
see,
you're going to be so down
I
so
was just
bad.
about to tell you that
Your Sunday's gone.
we were shocked is that Saturday.
Is that when your friend ate?
Yeah, he was decently okay.
Okay.
Sunday started to derail. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday
Really?
absent from our lives, gone.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah,
So this is bad.
and he said it was because
This is what I'm saying. I'm like, I wouldn't mind losing this because I
Yeah.
want to try this challenge. This is what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. I'm going to be on this podcast and that Monday night being like, guys, I haven't got out of bed in 2 days. And
Yeah.
be just down.
He said it was because
horrendous.
the bread just like blocked him up, and you're eating only waffles. I can't imagine that would be much better.
Waffles from Waffle House
Although,
and just
I think-
syrup. Who knows? Only God knows what's in that syrup
I
at
don't
Waffle
know.
House.
It's so good.
Now, do I get flavored waffles like blueberries and chocolate chip?
You should throw some strawberries in for some health. Just maybe throw a little fruit.
I mean, I like to overdo it, but on just one food, it's going to be bad.
It's going to be, I think the problem is you going into it knowing you're overdoing it. You just overdo it.
For the record, I'd love for you to come. Not just to eat, not just to like help me out, but I think you just enjoy watching.
Yeah,
me
I
get
would.
after it.
I've been around you enough to know that when you overdo it, it just happens.
Yeah,
like
it's
you don't.
natural.
You don't go in thinking
I wanna
I'm going to
overdo it.
eat 6 tacos and then Ryan's going to have some leftover food. I'm going to eat that. Kyle's going to have leftover food. I'm going to
No,
eat
I
that.
go in saying I'm not going to overdo it,
and then you do,
and then I do.
This time you're saying I'm going to overdo it,
That's what I'm scared
and
of.
I think that's going to get into your head.
You think it's going to hurt me?
Yeah,
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think it happens better spontaneously.
It does.
When you're feeling guilty about it is when it's great.
Right.
Not when you're like supposed to do it.
And they say you can't you need to be eating up until then because that if you don't eat then your stomach shrinks.
Oh yeah.
Right?
I'm gonna eat a breakfast like probably a bowl of oatmeal before
Right.
I work out that
Good
day.
call.
I'm not
Good
gonna
call.
go starving to Waffle House.
Maybe go to CrossFit with Greg.
I could.
That'd be the perfect one for
That
you.
actually
wouldn't
wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah.
I could double up and do CrossFit and then plan it
Oh.
and then just devour.
it? Oh my god, that's just a crazy day.
And I'm hyping myself up so much and talking all this talk about it. And you watch, I'm gonna edge Jack out in this thing and be like, well, good luck, buddy. I'm never gonna even do it. Someone said in the comments, I thought this was hilarious. Someone said if you guys both lose to Fuzzy Frank, the AI, that you guys should both have to do it.
That'd be cool. That'd be funny. See who gets out first.
I mean, yeah, I think I'd beat Jack.
I think
based
you
on
would,
just on the mentality alone.
But
I think
like,
Jack's really down on himself about
Jack
it.
might have something, He might have a second gear.
Dude, nobody puts it away like I do. I'm telling you what.
You're right. I
can
not
put it
fighting
away.
that. You can. I've seen it.
But again, 10-10 is the score tied there. Up next, the Miami series, then the Brooklyn series. Now, as Kyle mentioned, I think on this podcast even, it might have been teased. Yeah, because we were in Miami in the hotel room. He kind of mentioned it about the upload date here. So a little bit behind the scenes scoop. The text message that I got from the commissioner this morning was that it could be a weekend upload. So maybe not a whole Friday off, maybe a Saturday or Sunday MLW video.
Okay.
Not for sure, though. This is just speculation. He's figuring it out. But just stay tuned. We'll post on the Instagram, MLW_Waffle. I'm sure we'll repost it on Pipe It Up as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how it shakes out. But there may be a video Friday. There may be one Saturday, maybe Sunday, maybe the whole week off. We'll see. But Miami is next to wrap up Slate 2. And then to kick off Slate 3, it'll be Brooklyn Cats versus Cobras. Those pictures look really fun, really cool.
Yeah.
From the Brooklyn
Yeah,
series.
they look great. Yeah.
Like there was they were at the whole like amusement park thing. I think it was called Coney Island they were on.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I've never been there, but it looked awesome.
I've never been, but yeah, it looks like
There's
a really good
fireworks
time.
going off.
Yeah.
I saw JP and Brendan Schultz and I think Drew were on some kind of
Yeah, I
like,
saw
water ride.
Andy and Drew on
Or
that.
Andy
yeah.
and Drew, whoever it was.
I'll tell you what,
but
if you got a water ride like that and some funnel cake like I've seen, it's hard to not to have a
do you
good
like
time.
carnival food? I don't know if I do. It's a good place. It's just too expensive to overdo it there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my price. I'm a cost-effective guy.
You
as well.
are, but like I know that if I ordered a funnel cake, only had 2 bites, if it wasn't really into it, you'd probably finish it for me.
I would.
So-
In a heartbeat. If you paid
Right,
for it,
yeah,
I'd
right.
devour it.
So yeah, I mean it's okay. It's expensive, you're right, but
I don't
all right.
like elephant ears.
No, that's
funnel
not my
cakes,
thing. Funnel cakes are all right, but elephant ears not my thing.
You know what's really good? You ever had like some places have them, like Disney World will have, or maybe like some fairs in your local towns, but like a turkey leg, like a smoked giant turkey leg.
No,
never had that. Oh man, it is good.
Oh man,
it's good.
you just walk around and just gnaw on it like a
just like a barbarian.
Right.
It's humongous. It's
Okay.
just the best turkey leg you'll ever have. I've had them in a couple different spots and it's never been bad. I think the secret's just low and slow,
okay.
but very very good stuff. Turkey leg, gotta try the turkey.
Doesn't sound
leg.
bad.
But well, all right, man. There's one cool stat I wanted to lay on you, courtesy of Stat Sean here.
Okay.
Let's see if you do this or not, Ryan. In this series, I believe it was in the first game, might have even been the first inning. You had your 800th career strikeout in MLW.
Wow.
800 of those.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's how you know we're old.
Yeah.
Now, let me lay this on you. There are 5 players in total that are over 600 career strikeouts.
Okay.
Everyone else has less than 400, but 5 are over 600. You're at 805 currently. So there's 2 above you, 2 below you. Who are the 2 above you? Do you know?
Kyle.
Correct?
Warda.
No. This is pitching, by the way.
Right. I'm thinking of like people
Warda.
who've been around for a while.
Warda hasn't pitched that much.
Okay.
Warda's incorrect. He's not in the top 5.
Okay. Sorry.
So Kyle, you got 1. Kyle has 1,300 strikeouts, 1,331.
Wow. Can't be you, can it?
I am in the top 5.
Okay,
I'm
but
below
you're
you.
not there.
I have
Okay.
620.
Okay.
So there's still a person between you and Kyle.
That's impressive. Jeez. I don't know. That's a tough one. Is it does this player still play?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus, guess who now?
Right. I don't know. This is tough. It's not like Brendan Baranowski, is it?
No. Oh,
Okay.
you got to think he's been around for a while. All these players in this list.
Okay,
have
so
been around.
they have been around for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm thinking Wildcats. You'd think of you and Kyle.
We both are top 5.
Eagles. So it could be Dan.
Dan Schultz.
Yeah. Okay.
979.
Right. Yeah.
So he's still got
Wow.
you by 180 Ks.
Yeah.
That's how much longer he's been playing.
Yeah.
compared to
He's
you.
got. Yeah.
One more guy who sits one strikeout below me at 619. I have 620.
Yeah, okay.
Long timer again. I mean,
okay, so
not as long as Dan, but longer than most.
We did Eagles, we did Preds, we did Cats. What other teams have been around? Like the Cobras. So is it Drew Davis?
Drew Davis.
Yeah, okay.
619. So if Drew puts himself back in this year and strikes out one hitter, he will eclipse me in the all-time strikeout
Was
race.
he at 619 before he pitched against us?
No, I think that includes this year.
Okay.
This is an up-to-date list because you're at 805 career now.
Okay.
So that's that. 5 players over 600 Ks. Kyle at 1,300.
That's unreal.
That is crazy. Well, think about that like from an innings perspective. There's 3 outs in an inning. I mean, that's insane.
That's why, there's no argument that he's the GOAT.
So much playing.
There's just so much more.
That's the scary thing. Is Kyle could be 40 and still throwing the screwball for all we know.
Right, yeah.
15 years from now, but pretty crazy stuff. So cool stat for sure. And we always appreciate stats, Sean. You guys got to follow him on Instagram. He's like Sean references MLW. I'll tag him in a story one of these times. But cool stats. I love how he provides them to me unsolicited. I'll just wake up to a text message saying, "Hey, Tom, check the stat out." I'm like, "That's cool. That's awesome.
That's great.
Nothing better." So we appreciate that, Sean. Again, here on Pipe It Up. Thanks again to ShedBall for sponsoring today's episode. Again, be on the lookout for news on the Miami series, folks. Definitely stay tuned to the MLW platforms for that. But that's a wrap. Ryan, really appreciate you coming on today.
I appreciate you having me on, Tom.
Always a pleasure. Maybe we'll roll the Stones this weekend.
It's on you. I got my ball back at home, so you just
your Dexter's ready.
I believe I'll be renting Dexter's this week.
Okay, well, I got dust mine off. They're somewhere. Yeah. They're somewhere. But thanks for coming on. If we do go bowling, we'll post some stories for sure.
Let's do it
for the people. But all right, thank you guys all for tuning in again on this fine Wednesday. We will see you all again next Wednesday. But for now, that's a wrap. Jonah Heath will soon be a professional athletic trainer, and we will see you all soon.
Pipe it up.